Hey, mama. I know we homeschool moms love our books, don't we? I wrote this book years ago with the idea of trying to pass on the lesson that my husband and I have always applied in homeschooling, and that is to homeschool from the inside out. Homeschool where you focus on the heart and the character and the attitudes of our kids to build the foundation that then we lay on top life skills and academics and stuff. So I thought I would read to you for a little bit from inside my book. I want you to see that it's really small. It's a fast read. I've heard from the moms that have read it that they're surprised at how much of an impact this tiny little book has. And the link is below that will get you into the free trial for Homeschooling with Secret Sauce, which is my membership group. And then in there, this, I think it's the second link, gets you the free PDF copy. And yes, you can search for it on Amazon if you want a paper copy. But Homeschooling from the Inside Out by me, Bekki Sayler. And it has on the inside, has table of contents, has a picture of my 5 sons, which they're amazing, amazing kids. One of the first things is that I don't take myself too seriously. So it says paper airplanes. Okay? Paper airplanes. When you're confused, frustrated, or ready to quit, I'll be there by your side in prayer. I've been there. I've snuggled my 5-year-old as he sounded out words for the first time and smiled at my older son as he worked diligently on the computer, only to realize that the 2-year-old was too quiet. My confidence as a homeschooler shattered when I found out that the toddler had painted my bathroom with nail polish and my older son was actually watching cartoons rather than writing that essay. I've been there. Actually, I'm still there in the trenches as I write this book over coffee. Homeschool is a living, breathing, messy, beautiful thing. This book is as well. It's meant to be read, scribbled, and dog-eared. You might read it all at once, or in between putting your toddler to bed, or after you finish tutoring your 12-year-old in math. If all else fails, you can turn the pages into some pretty cool paper airplanes. See you on the inside, Bekki. So, in the beginning, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read a few pages because I want you to get a copy because I want to bless you. So please let me bless you. In the beginning, I never taught anything but Sunday school before my family began their homeschool journey in a co-op school where the parents worked together to teach their kids. At that school, your job was assigned to you by a board of directors. Honestly, it was like playing a game of Yahtzee. I won being a 5th grade teacher. My sons, first and toddler, so one was in 1st grade, one was a toddler, went to different classes while I tried to find the courage to face a group of 12-year-olds. I trembled as my students stared at me with anticipation. My mouth was dry and beads of sweat formed on my forehead. Egads. Okay, if you ever find a typographical error in anything that I write, it's just because I'm human. I was in way over my head. To my surprise, school proceeded just like any other classroom. I planned the lessons and wrote on the whiteboard. The kids did their classwork and turned in their assignments. Nothing magical, just school. And then it happened. I watched God reach the hearts of the kids. After recess one day, the kids were bickering about something, just like at home. I pushed aside the afternoon lessons and I had all the kids sit on top of their desks. We talked. Well, actually, they talked and I listened. As we chatted about different ways to solve the problem, the Lord impressed a story on my heart. We grabbed our Bibles and sat under the desks. Pro tip: when teaching a group of 12-year-olds, keep them moving. Sit in weird places, rearrange the furniture, remove the furniture, and it keeps their attention better than anything other than food. We didn't get to our regular lesson that day. Instead, the kids and the kids and I learned a priceless life lesson. A child's heart, attitude, and character are the solid gold pillars of homeschooling. Character trumps curriculum. And I'm going to add right now, every single time. Character trumps curriculum every single time. It was the first of many times that I set school aside and listened to my kids and the Lord. The magic of listening and focusing on the heart is addicting. Addicting. Of course, the moment I got comfortable teaching in the classroom, the Lord prompted us to pull our kids from school. We were real homeschoolers now, and I was terrified. And then here's this one. I have no greater joy. This is a picture of my husband and 4 of my sons and me. And then this is a picture of, again, 4 of my sons. We live in Western Washington. That volcano is called Mount Rainier. It's gorgeous. It's within sight, like when I drive 5 minutes away. How to use this book, because it's important, right? You need to know what you're doing. Why? What is the purpose of this book? These pages are written with a purpose to give you hope, a direction, a plan, and to help you not to feel as terrified as I was. It's so easy to wander off the main path that the Lord wants us to take in homeschooling. Curriculum, educational goals, and confusing math problems can cause us to be overstressed and over-emotional. We need to be reminded of the goal, the end game. Why do we homeschool? Why do we homeschool? Why do you homeschool? John 1:4, or 3 John 1:4 says, I have no greater joy than this, to hear of my children walking in truth. It's God's heart for you, for me, and our kids that we all walk in truth, that we focus on hearts, souls, minds, and strengths, and love Him and those around us. Homeschooling is just part of our journey as parents, but it can be overwhelming if we do it on our own. Thank goodness the Lord wrote down a plan, a master plan for us to follow. And it's reworded from sun up to sundown. Manage your home and life with your kids by your side. Tell them how much I love them and how to walk through life. God. He used slightly different language, but it means the same thing. You shall teach them diligently to your sons, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Basically all day long. Education is good. Knowledge is powerful. But those are not the main things, the main focus in homeschooling. Don't get so distracted by ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and what you need to teach your kids. I lost my place. Don't get so distracted by the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and what you need to teach your kids. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or if a man will give in exchange, or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? Matthew 16:26. The Lord wants us to learn and grow. He wants us to teach our kids. I wrote it big. But all the learning means nothing if our kids don't love Him. Now, you may decide right here that I'm not a good fit for you. And I always tell people that you'll know whether or not you want to stay in my corner of the universe by the time you get to about page 7 of this book. And we're not quite there yet, so I'm going to keep reading. Every January, I do a crazy purge of homeschooling. Right now, when I'm recording this video, it's September. But every January, I do the same thing. We come back to our studies after Christmas, and it never fails. Suddenly, I see how off track I allowed my kids to get. You too? Yeah, me too. Even though I had great intentions, I can see we put too much emphasis on this curriculum and that lesson, and we neglected to hold on to the joy of learning. I'm convicted that our time seeking the Lord got lost in the shuffle of schoolwork and life, and our Bibles became dusty. Christmas always brings that back into focus for me. And then New Year's rolls around, and I cut and trim out our schoolwork and get to the core of what we really want to learn. This book is like Christmas. When the holiday dust settles, this book will remind you to get back on track. And then I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'll close right here. Okay. Recently, as a couple years ago now, recently my youngest son, Stephen, fidgeted while I taught the boys a science lesson on the whiteboard. He was grumpy and back talking. Every movement his brother made caught his eye and caused him to flinch. His older brother's voice caused him to glare and snap. I put the cap on the pen and asked his older brother to clean up the lunch dishes while I read and talked to his little brother. Stephen and I went into his room and closed the door. "What's going on, buddy?" He responded with a clenched mouth and glaring eyes. It's kind of a sailor trait. Clenched mouth and glaring eyes. "It's okay," I said. "We'll sit here and I'll wait until you're ready to tell me." The ticking of the clock got louder and louder. Minutes turned into an hour, and I simply moved my fingers over the carpet and I waited. Finally, he exhaled and spilled his guts. He was struggling. "Mama, if I had just pushed through and completed the science lesson, I wouldn't have discovered that his heart was broken and that he was confused. Now, I don't always get this right. I can be quite militant and push my kids through the filter of my to-do list. But sometimes times like this remind me that their heart condition is the true goal. As silly as it sounds, every year I reread my goals and write about homeschooling my kids' hearts. I need the reminder too. My prayer for you as you see this book as a friend who's sitting across the table with you with a cup of coffee and lovingly reminding you that it's going to be okay. You really can push the goals and keep moving toward them. Sorry, the care, etc. Don't teach the science lesson and miss your kid's heart. Don't lose your kids in the weeds of curriculum, lesson plans, and academic achievement. When you realize that you've lost sight of their hearts, back up, slow down, and refocus. My kids, your kids too, my kids need me to stop, to sit, to play with the carpet long enough. So I would love for you to get a PDF copy of my book. Yes, you can get it on Amazon. And yes, that helps fund everything that I do. But I would love for you to get a free PDF copy. We homeschool moms get lost in the weeds of curriculum so easily. We get overwhelmed by what is it that our kids are supposed to learn? And how am I going to get dinner on the table? And what about that laundry? And what about this? And what about that? It's so important that we're willing to push expectations aside and focus on the heart issues, the core issues. Sometimes they're really obvious. You'll catch your kids doing something that they're not supposed to do, or there'll be a recurring attitude that happens. Sometimes it'll be like that day with my son where something was wrong, but he just couldn't articulate what it was. And he needed to sit with me in silence for an hour before he trusted me and before he shared what was really going on in his heart. I don't know how many of those opportunities I missed with all 5 of my sons. I'm sure that there were countless, but that lesson was priceless. That, the busy work, it's important. Academics are important. When I look at when we look at homeschool and you see that your family's in the middle, you can see that in the wheel of homeschooling, the academic stuff has its place. It really does. It's important that they learn to read and write and do their basic math, to have an appreciation for where we've gone in history and where we're going, and to have curiosity, right? Scientific curiosity. I wonder what? I wonder why. But this is the stuff that makes homeschooling homeschooling. because it's all connected. This is the secret sauce, focusing on the relationships and the kids' manners and making sure that they have life skills and that we attend to their character training and their attitude and that we give them the tools that they need so that they can lean into their passions, especially as they get older. This is secret sauce. This is like the core of what I do inside, my homeschooling with secret sauce group is that, this is so much, it's a bigger piece of the pie than this stuff. But oh, this is our hurdle. This is where we feel judged. This is where we feel overwhelmed. This is where we're frustrated and confused and sad. And this piece right here, sorry, with the noise, this piece right here can get in the way of us focusing on this bigger piece of the pie. Don't lose sight of why you're homeschooling. Focus on the heart of your kids. Focus on their character, their attitude, how they're making decisions, finding opportunities from sunup to sundown. There's opportunities to mentor and train your kids all day long. So anyway, I just thought it would be fun to share a little bit of my book with you. I have, somebody says, you're an amazing woman of God, wife, parent, teacher, friend, and all the rest. You were my daughter's favorite teacher at CECS in the first co-op. It's such a blessing to see how you bless so many people in your life. Aw. I don't recognize her handle. Now I want to know who that is. So anyway, God bless you guys. Grab a copy of my book and know that you're going to make it through. If you focus on the core things first, all the other things take care of themselves over time. God bless you and have a wonderful day.